Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is Joelle Jobson.
Hello.
This is Jobson.
Hello, everybody.
And this is Power Hour. This is our show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central, live. You never know what's going to happen. And today's topic that you all voted for is this new ability to create custom list, org-wide list templates in SharePoint Online. It is done via PowerShell. So it is slightly technical today. We're not programmers, and we're not hardcore devs or IT admins really. I mean, I have an IT admin background, but usually the things that we cover in Power Hour are pretty light, pretty kind of business usery topics. Now, this one is, of course, it involves writing PowerShell, but it is approachable. So it is a pretty simple little script, and it's something that you can take and use and tweak. And I've even, we have our live chat going. I've even already copied and pasted the script into the chat for you all to take that. That's the fun thing about Power Hour, is that it is live and we have a discussion going. We chat in Microsoft Teams, of course. And wherever you're watching this right now, there is a link beneath the video to click to join, and there's a form to fill out if you're joining the first time. If you've already joined before, you just go to Microsoft Teams and switch over to our organization. You don't have to fill out the form multiple times. But it is a manual process. We have to manually invite you to the tenant, so you're not instantly going to be in there when you request to join. So so I send out the Power Hour newsletter before Power Hour, the day before usually, and you all vote on what you want your topics to be. This one was really, really close. So it was neck and neck for a really long time. I'll show you that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let's see. There we go. Okay, so first of all, this is the chat, but I just wanted to show you this is my analytics for the voting that I use in the little newsletter software that I have that sends the newsletter out. Look at that. So this is option 3 was the SharePoint list template. And all morning it's been neck and neck with option 2, which was the PowerApps waffle menu. So I just wanted y'all to see how close that was. It was crazy. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Edge of your seat.
So we're doing the list templates. And this is what it looks like when you're in your organization in Teams. You'll be able to click to toggle to another organization. You might have your name of your organization, and it'll say like IW Mentor Power Hour in here. So you've got to toggle over to Power Hour organization, and then you'll probably just see this one or two teams over here on the left. So you go to the general channel. And on the Posts tab, that's where we have just general commentary. But the Posts tab is also where I'm going to go ahead and pin these resources that I have for today's Power Hour. So I'll pin that. And then when you go to the little I over here on the Posts tab, you'll be able to see Pin Post, and you'll be able to go straight to this is all the resources. And this is where the script is for the thing I'm about to show. So there you go. You can go grab that. All right. So then you go to, we have a tab. I usually keep about 6 recent tabs for different Power Hours we've done. You can go to today's tab, and there is, it'll look like this. You can click play, watch us, and then there's a little chat panel. So you're learning how to do contextual chat in Teams, and you're chatting and saying hello. So that's where we all are, and that's where we have our fun live commentary going. And anything else? I think that's all the introductory stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with what we're covering. So this is not just like the cool thing that we showed last week with, what was it? It was the new site templates. Just like that, this hasn't been rolled out to all the tenants either. So I have, again, about 4 tenants, and this only exists in one of them, the same one that had the site templates too. So the way you'll see this new concept that's been rolled out, this new list template, the way you know if you have it or not in your tenant is to go click, like as if you're creating a new list from wherever you create a new list. It can be from your site contents on a site, or from this new button, or from the Microsoft Lists app. And Microsoft Lists and SharePoint Lists are the same thing. So that's what this is, Microsoft Lists, SharePoint Lists. So when you go to create a new list, this from your organization is the new thing. And so if you don't see that, then that means you're not going to be able to do this yet. So you probably won't have anything listed here, but if you don't see this little tab to toggle over to, and a couple of my other tenants don't have this yet, then you don't have this feature yet. But PowerShell does have this these commands rolled out. So the version of PowerShell you get has nothing to do with what release your tenant's on. It's because anybody can just download PowerShell and get all the commands. So the commands, I think, are just not going to work if users don't have this interface. Then they're not going to be able to create a list from a template that you do using the script I'm about to show. So this is the coolness right here. So I created a couple of list templates, and I've got the company store, and it shows you what columns are going to be available in the company store. And I've got a task list, and I can click use a template, and then it even has a pre-created little title here. And anyway, so it's just like creating a list. So that's the concept we're going to cover, is how to make it so that you have your own organization list templates. Isn't that cool? What do y'all think? You used to be able to do that, but it was totally different, right? You used to, in the old classic way, you could go to an existing list, click save as a template, and then you could create other lists in that site collection from that list. This is global though. Okay, and it's very pretty and shiny. So how did I do it? And now the way you get to PowerShell, and I'm just going to describe this, the way you get to PowerShell is there's this PowerShell ISE thing that's built into Windows 10. So I click the little window icon, like the start menu, and then type ISE, and then this PowerShell ISE, Windows PowerShell ISE thing will be listed in the programs that you can run. You right click on it. You don't just click to open it. You right click on it and you choose run as administrator, because you have to run this, run PowerShell as an administrator. So this ISE is a cool little interface that I always use when I'm doing PowerShell. And then I'm going to make this a little lower so that it's not underneath Joelle. She's up there in the little window. Okay, let me see. See if it'll let me drag it over a little bit. Anyway, so this is the script. So let me show you the link that I went to, and I shared this in the chat. It's called Creating Custom List Templates. And the script is in there too, except there was a little finagling that I had to do, just a couple of tiny tweaks that I just kind of knew to do, like with one of the little variables it mentions and stuff like that I've already done in the version that I copied over to Teams. So first of all, there are a couple of commands in here that I didn't have just already in the PowerShell on my computer. So pay attention to this little note here. If you installed a previous version of SharePoint Online Management Shell, go to Add or Remove Programs and uninstall it. So I did have to do this. I went and uninstalled the old version of this PowerShell Management Shell off my computer, rebooted the computer, and then went in here and re-downloaded this and installed it. So that's what gave me these commands that I needed to be able to do this. So then I opened up this ISE thing, and I always do this update module thing. Let me try and get this to show correctly again. There we go. I always do this update module command here. And that's just going to make sure that you have the latest version of that of PowerShell on your computer. So I don't do PowerShell very often. So anytime I do it, I always just run that update module thing, and that will just update the PowerShell software. Unless, of course, you have to completely uninstall it and re-download it, because updating it didn't do the trick from whatever old version I had on my computer. And then you have to be either a global admin or at least a SharePoint admin in your tenant to be able to do everything we're doing here. So if you're not a SharePoint admin in Microsoft 365, this is something that you can make note of and go talk to your SharePoint admin. So what I can do is, so you can run one line at a time if you want to. So I can go run I can put my cursor on a single line and go run that one line. So it just did this one thing. And then I have to connect to, it basically is like authenticating me to SharePoint. And this will probably, it'll pull up a prompt for you to log in to SharePoint as your admin account. Go ahead and do that. And actually, Joelle has done a couple of power hours about some of these concepts with the site designs and the site scripts. So this is kind of, as I'm going, if you think all this whole concept looks intriguing and you want to learn more, I gotta get my code. We have other power hours about that. And I think last time when we did the thing about the site templates, we talked about, you put links to the other power hours that time as well. I don't think much of that has changed as far as the concepts of site designs and site scripts. Microsoft hasn't done many updates to that as a whole. Okay, so
it's just the same.
What?
I was just saying it's the same, except for they've added like a few actions to the JSON piece, but that's about it.
Oh, okay. A few whats?
Actions.
Oh, actions. Okay.
Like create list, create library, things like that.
Oh, okay. All right, so then this is cool. So this is, I wonder if I can make my font bigger. I don't know. Do I need to make my font bigger? Zoom in a little. There we go. Okay. This is where you can take an existing list. So I had this existing list. And when I did this before, I was creating that task list. So I'll go ahead and just do this again. And since we have a whole hour, and go ahead and create a different list to put here and put the URL to a different list. And I'll go ahead and save my little PowerShell script as something else. I'll call it test2. There, because I'm going to change it. Okay, so I'll go into my tenant and go to this little test site that I have. And I'm just going to create a brand new list. And this is the list that I'm going to create the template from. So, call it silly test. And then just not going to spend too much time customizing this, but I'll do, let's see, a choice. I noticed something. Have y'all noticed this? The colors that you can do now, this little interface looks different. The colors there are a lot more choices when you're creating choice columns and being able to customize the colors and the little styles. Isn't that neat? So there used to be just like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 things that you could pick from, and now there's a whole slew of them. So, all right, so I'll just put, say save, and then it doesn't really matter. So anyway, you just create all of your columns. I'll go ahead and create another view as well, just for fun. So I'll just say create new view and show it as a list and call it blue. And then I'll just say I want add an item to this. Save. And add another put it as green. And then I'm going to say I want my blue view here to be filtered to only show the blue items. And then I'm just going to save my view. So now I've got two views. I've got an all items and then a blue, just so you can kind of see the concept of having multiple views and columns. Is there anything else you can think of, Joelle, besides just views and columns that would be pertinent to put in here? I don't know. I think that's about it.
Sorry,
just to
I was
kind
distracted by a question.
What?
What was the question?
Well, I'm demonstrating, I'm doing a new list just to create a template from it. And I've created multiple views and I created a couple of columns. I was just trying to think of anything else that we could create in here that would, what we're going to do next after we run this one is we're going to try and customize it with PowerApps and see if that goes across too. I doubt it will.
Just the formatting, right? Like the conditional formatting stuff.
Do what?
Column formatting.
Yeah, well, I didn't do the column
yeah.
formatting. Let me do, I'll do a date and time. And then I'll do, and then I'll format that. The formatting is going to come across with it. So I'll do format dates there. Cool. All right, now my dates are formatted. And so this is the list I'm going to use, my little silly test list. So what I need for to be able to create a template from this list is I just need the URL to the list. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to grab this URL, but I don't need the allitems.aspx. So let me go over to PowerShell here. So in my list URL, I'm going to paste it in there, except I don't need that. I just need the name of the, slash sites, name of the site, slash list, and then the name of the list. Okay, so then I want to tell it, that's just going to take that list and put it as, to give me a site script from that list. And then what do I want to call the site script? It's going to create a site script and a list design. But you need to have the site script before you can create the list design, because it's going to use your extracted information anyway in there. Okay, so I'm going to do list script, and what do I want to call it? I'm going to call it silly list. And then that's your description. And then the content is what's extracted. So this extracted is a variable, and that's going to give you this variable where it's going to extract everything about that list. And then when you create the list script, it's creating it from what you extracted. And then the next thing to do is to create a list design. And this is the thing that's brand new. So add SPO list design is the thing that didn't exist in that older version of PowerShell. So it's add SPO list design. And then what do you want to call it? I'll just call it silly test list, and then blah blah. And then okay, so this is the part where it doesn't tell you in Microsoft's instructions that this is what you need to do. It just tells you right here, it says ID from previous step. So you just kind of have to know PowerShell to be able to know what that means and how you'd put it in the script. So what you do is you put, after I ran this, so I created this list script variable. So when I'm running this add SPO site script, as it's doing it, it's writing what it's doing to a variable called list script. So then I'm using this list script .id because it needs the ID from the list script when it's creating that. And then the list color. Okay, so also in the notes in the where I showed you where I put the notes in the post tab in Teams, I put what all of the different colors are supposed to be, because there's just a finite list of colors. And the way I got the list of colors was just by erroring out and then telling me, you can't just say it needs to be yellow. You need to pick from this. So I was just trying to type a color name and it was telling me. Anyway, same thing goes for this list icon. So that's the little list icon that you're going to see next to the list when you're looking at create the end user interface for creating that custom list. And then the thumbnail is what you want it to look like on that screen. So let me go back and show you again. When I'm just creating a new list anywhere in my tenant, and I'm looking at this right here, this is the thumbnail. So what I did was I have another site. Let me go to my other site. Resources. And it's going to help if everybody, I know everybody in my company, all my students that are in here, they all have access to this resources site. So that's going to be helpful, because for it to render the image for people to create a list from it, I think they need to have access to the place where the image lives. I'm assuming that just based on SharePoint things in the past. So I had a bunch of images already in here. I'll just go take a look at what those are. Just little test images. So I just picked a couple of images. So I put the URL to like the site/site assets/ and then the name of the image. And this one was just IT news, and this one was just startup-photos. So I just that's what I use as the URL to each of these images in the script. So you don't have to have an image, but that's what I used. It's just, you just need the full URL to it. Okay, and then as an option, it's got this grant SPO site design rights thing for the list design, and you can tell it a person or security group, email enabled security group, that you want to have rights to be able to use that site design. So let's go ahead and run this. I already ran the first two things. I'll go ahead and just run. I'm not going to worry about well, I'll just do one at a time. Let's see. So I'll go that one. So now it's going to go. I like doing them one at a time when I'm first trying something, so I can, if it has an error, I can just troubleshoot that one thing right then. Okay, so that one worked, and I'll go down here. And that one worked. Okay, so that one I didn't change the icon or the color or the list icon from what I had done before. So now let's go look in my tenant. If I'm just on some site anywhere in my tenant, and I go, let's go to just some other one. Accounting team, I don't know what that is. And I'll just go click new, list, from your organization, and look at that. So there's my silly test list. And then I see it's going to have that's the descriptor, that's the icon that I chose for it. The teal was the color I typed in, and that's the little clipboard icon that I chose. And then blah blah was the description that I typed. And then if I choose use template, stuff, then I've got my new list here. Doesn't have any items in it. And then I can see that I've got my color question and my due date. And wasn't that so easy? And then I've got, look at that, there's my other view. Now I don't have anything. Oh yeah, I do have something with blue. Okay, yeah, that was the color I chose. But I do have my other view that I created. So when I created that list, when it, pulled in that list to create the template from it, it pulled in everything, all the customization and colors and views in there. What do y'all think? Isn't that magical? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, what did I miss? I missed a lot. What is going on? I'm looking at all of your questions and stuff. I like the PowerShell ISE because it just of that rich interface as opposed to having only that console window. It lets you write the script and then test one thing at a time and quickly save it and stuff like that. Todd Clint showed me that. He saw me struggling with just the big blue PowerShell window, and he's like, "Why aren't you using the ISE?" Well, I didn't know. Okay, so yes, so Lisa, you can modify the new list, do whatever you want to with it. After you've created it from the template, you can do whatever you want to with it. Were there any other questions about what I was just doing besides people putting silly GIFs?
Yeah, there were, but we answered them.
Do what?
They were, but I answered them.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Okay.
It looks like there's one just came in. Any issues with custom content types?
Custom content types. I don't know. So now that we've shown you the basics of how to do it, I'll show you, and let me show you where I put in the chat about the colors you can pick from. So there's the script right here that I posted. And here we go, the colors. So they're right here, dark red, red, orange, green, dark green, teal. So it's just a very small subset of colors you can pick from when you're typing the color name in the script. And then the icons, it seems like it's a very small list of icons, robot, calendar, clipboard list, airplane, rocket, stuff like that. So that is where that is too. And then there's the script that I used, and I put your tenant in here instead of IW Mentor. Okay, so now what I'm going to try first is I'm going to try customizing a list with PowerApps, and I highly doubt that the Power App will go with the list, but let's just try it. And then also he mentioned custom content types, so let's try that too. So I wonder, Joelle, do you think I should try it with a custom content type in the actual content type hub? Well, that would be a better test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to take this silly test list and customize it with PowerApps. Got some elevator music to play. Dun, 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 dun. What is going on?
Hey Laura, you may have shown this, but if you go to lists, the app, do these templates show there too?
Let me see. I'll double check that. I'm pretty sure. Yep.
Yeah, so then, and to answer your question about Teams, then yes, because this lists is available in Teams, so then you would be able to see the same thing there as well.
Cool, yeah. Okay. I'm going to do let's see. So here's I'll get rid of the attachments thing, and I'll give it a different color. Ooh, that is an ugly color. Okay. And I'll just say back to SharePoint, save and publish. So now I've customized this with PowerApps and just did something really simple. But I made it an ugly color, so you can easily tell that that was done to it. There we go. All right, so now I've got my silly test list. So I'm going to do a new template, and this time I'm going to change the I'll change the little graphic that it uses too. So I'll go back to my class files and resources, and I'm just going to pick a different a different little image here when I do my script. Okay, I'm going to take my same script and I'm just going to tweak it a little bit again. I'm actually going to use the same exact list that That's probably not a good idea. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can just get this. It's just getting the list. It's just getting a SharePoint online site script from the list, and it's what I want to do is clear all my variables first, just to make sure. Let me see if that clears the variables. No, it doesn't. Wonder if there's a way to do that without. I don't want to have to close this whole thing, because then my the video that I'm doing, the software that I'm doing the video will crash. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, I'll just clear that again. Okay. Oh, I know what I can do. I'll just create a completely new list with a slightly different name, and that way that will be the one that I'll do this, just to be scientific, right? Okay. And I'm just going to do a new list based off this other one. That way I don't have to do any extra work. Okay, silly test list 2. That one does not have PowerApps on it, so that's a good hint of what's to come, right? Because when I just create a list based off of another existing list, it doesn't put the PowerApp on it. So I'm going to assume that when I'm doing this, it's not going to bring the PowerApps with it. We'll just try it. Okay, what did were there any other interesting things? Oh, okay, Zach says I tried working with the custom color themes and was able to see the referencing of where each color goes. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Customize it again real quick. Oops.
Yeah, I think we were talking about, I wasn't sure exactly where the color that you're putting in the script is like represented.
Yeah, it's not in the Fluent UI theme designer, Zach. That's where I was trying to do it. So Zach just put a link to the Fluent UI theme designer, and I was trying to use icons from that, and it didn't. That's when it gave me an error. I was trying to use colors and icons from that big long list of icons. So it said you can't use this. You have to use one of these. So that's when it gave me that small list of icons. Okay, gotcha. Silly test list 2 is that's the URL I want. And I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to do silly list 2, silly test list 2, same content, description, site scripts, list color. So I'm going to type blue here, and I'll show you the error it gave me. List color blue, and then list icon, I'll put airplane. Thumbnail, I'm going to put that other thumbnail that I was going to do. I'll do just the one called it.png. No, computer underscore lab.jpg. Okay. Okay. So that is that one. I don't think I ran that one yet. There. Did I run this one though? I don't think I did. Dang it. Now I'm messing it all up. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the rights thing. Okay, now let's see what it looks like. Okay, just go to the home page. I can just go to any site in my tenant and go new list. And here's my silly test list 2. It's got the computer lab picture that I pointed to it. And it's got the airplane icon and the blue color. So it didn't give me the error that time. That's weird, because before when I typed blue, it said, no, you have to use one of these. Maybe you know what I did? I think maybe I had just typed purple, and purple wasn't one of the ones in the list. So I thought I had typed just like
it looks like there's a bunch of purple.
Yeah, yeah. Say that again. There are different purples.
We were looking at, yeah, there's like different purples, so there's probably not just a purple.
But none of them, okay, that's what it was. I had just typed
Yeah.
purple. And none of them are just purple. They're all like blue purple or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So now's my silly test list 2. Use a template. Does it have PowerApps? I don't know. Oh man, I created that in our actual site. Our resources site. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Nope, no PowerApps. Shocker. Okay, I'm just gonna go delete this list. Okay, so now any other things I need to try besides a custom content type? Let's go to my content type hub here. Ooh, there's a new content type gallery. Is that instead of the content type hub? Maybe we should have a power hour about that. Have I already created any content? I wish this worked on document libraries, by the way. So I feel like I've already, I created a custom content type in the content type hub called project establishment. And so this custom content type project establishment has all these columns. So I'll use that. So I'll use that in my new list, and then I'll create a template from that. And then we'll just make sure that that works when we create a new list from that template, from the template from the content type. Is everybody following me here? So let me recap that. For those of you who are hardcore SharePoint people, you're probably familiar with content types, and they're used a lot less nowadays. But anyway, we have these content types, which is basically consists of, it's kind of like a list template because it consists of a bunch of columns. And there are other kind of things to a content type, but it's really just what is the list sort of template. Is it a document library or a list? And then what are the columns that are going to be included in it? So content types were the way that we used to have to do sort of a global list template, sort of a way to do that. But now we're going to test to see if we can use a custom content type in one of these custom list templates and have the content type go with it, which I'm pretty sure it's going to. So I've got this content type that I already created called project establishment. And now I'm going to go create a new list, just a blank list, and I'm going to use that content type. So this is kind of kicking it old school here. I haven't done this in a while, Joelle. I'm going to put this in my, just some support, some site called support. I like the robot. I want a purple robot there. See, different shades of purple. Okay, so now that I've got my custom list created, I'll go here. Yeah, it's like riding a bike. And then go add from my existing site content types. So this is where I can go find that project establishment content type that exists in that main list of content types. And I add it here. I'll go remove the item content type. I'm trying to think, Joelle, what would be the benefit of doing this and using a content type? Oh, I know. I just answered my own question. If you want to be able to centrally control what columns appear in that content type, like later on, you decide that all project establishment lists need to have like a due date added to them or something like that as one of the columns, then you could add that in the main parent content type that I showed you a minute ago, and then that would propagate automatically to all the lists that were created using this project establishment content type. So that's the benefit.
Yeah.
Because when you use these list templates that I just showed you, those are just creating the list template right then, just from whatever's in the template. And it's not dynamic. It's not ever going to be changed or be managed centrally.
Right.
It's just sort of just like
It
a
is.
copy right then. Okay, so here's these are all the columns. And then by default, it doesn't put columns in any views. So I'll go ahead and just quickly edit the current view and add some columns to it. Just random columns. There. Okay, so now I've got some columns in my view. And now I'm going to take this one, and this is the one that I'm going to use to create a template from. And I'll copy that over to my URL here. Paste that, so that's my project establishment list. So now I'm just going to play that one little line. So now that's the template that it's got stored in this extracted variable. So then I'm going to do project. I'm just going to call this one project. And I'm going to run this second line. And then I'm going to say, I want to see which one of these it shows when I'm picking from the templates. I think it's the second one. And then my site script, blah, 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 list color. Pink was one of them, I think. Let's see if it'll give me an error. And the icon is going to be, I'm going to go to my little list of, I'm going to do the robot. Yeah. And then I'm going to leave the thumbnail off and see what it looks like. Okay, and I'll push play on that line. Okay, so now I've run it, and that's so easy. And then I'll go to this other, this is just the same SharePoint site. Doesn't matter which SharePoint site you go to try this out. And click the new button, go to list. You ready for a drum roll? Let's see. Okay, so I didn't choose a thumbnail, so it's got this pretty ugly, just gray box. I kind of wanted to see what it was going to look like. The From Microsoft
I
ones
wonder.
all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder, like, what the. Oh, never mind. Ignore me. I'm thinking of.
So I didn't create a lovely picture like Microsoft did. So when you don't have a picture, it's just going to be gray.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm surprised it's not like the icon, like the color in the icon, that they don't do that.
I'm surprised it didn't put all my columns that I added to that view. Interesting. Okay. Oh, now it puts the column. That's weird. It didn't have the columns in the little preview, but the other ones did. I have no idea what I did different to make them show there. Okay. So this is my new list to establish projects, and then I go to my list settings. And I can see, to be able to see if it's using that, if it's got that content type built in, I go to allow management content types. Click OK. And then, oh no. Interesting, Joelle. It is not.
Yeah, I was wondering if it maybe just grabbed the columns.
Yeah.
Microsoft, gotta get on it.
So that is interesting. So I feel like that's something that you could be able to tweak potentially in your site design stuff, like, because it has stuff for content types in here, but just when you're when you're creating it with those simple little commands, it doesn't use the content type. But I feel like if you wanted to take this further and go into this, let's see, it's got content types. It's got a new content type. It's got, so you could create the content type using in these site scripts, site columns.
You'd have to script it all out instead of just using the easy like copy an existing list kind of
Yeah,
option.
exactly. So say that again, Joelle, so they'll kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah, instead of using that short script to just copy an existing list, which is that one that you have, you would have to write the entire script out and then use it just like you would with like an actual like site design. You would just have to write it all out only just for the list, but that create the content type and everything like that in there. It looks like
so
for now.
So that would be like your add SPO site script, and then when you use the site script, it would be from
you would
that
set a
variable.
Yeah, so like that list, I can't your screen's always really blurry to me because I
Sorry.
look at vMix. It's okay, it's not your fault. So I'm barely seeing it, but I guess like that, like the list, like, is it list script? Yeah, so that would be, you would set that like in the very beginning of your PowerShell, it would be that equals, and then you would paste in your JSON, and then you would reference that to then create it later.
Yep, and Joelle taught all that in our other Power Hours, all about site scripts and site designs, and it's all the exact same concept. So what we've just learned is that when you create when you use a custom content type when you save that list as a template that has a custom content type in it, and then you create something from that template, it is not going to have the custom content type. So that is not expected.
What's interesting though, I am interested, like I don't know if we want to look at this or not, but I'm curious if those are still site columns that are on there. Because like I wonder, you know how like if you change a site column, like it would, even no matter where it is, if it's used, then it gets updated, you know, even if it's outside of the content type. So I'm like, are those still like connected site columns?
They
or
might
are those...
be. Okay, so let's see. We have one. We could change one of these, like source of funding or something. We can change.
Yeah.
Maybe we could change what the options are in the choices. Source of funding. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's go to the main. We're going to SharePoint admin. We're going to our project. So let me start to kind of where I went. I went to content type gallery. I went to project establishment, which is the content type I had created. And then we'll go to the column called source of funding. That's a choice column. Edit site column settings. Oh, you can format site columns now. That is cool.
Oh, that's
I'm going
cool.
to do that too. And I can't change the actual column itself from here. I have to go to the list of site columns.
I think I remember that. Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at it. Yeah, you might have to go to the list of site columns to do that. I used to think that it like jumped you off from there, but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. See, like this isn't clickable.
Yeah, you might have to actually go to the site column list itself.
Oh, you have to do just straight JSON to format it. Okay, so that's the question is where... Oh, I go to advanced settings. Where are the site... Like, how do you edit the site columns?
Is there not... I can't see. Let me go look on my own screen because it's too blurry. I can't read. Let me look. Should be...
Oh, edit site column settings, maybe? No.
If you go back to the content type gallery... It just has... Yeah, so I'm not sure because in the past the content type hub was a site, and you would just go to that site.
We can still go there.
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, we'll go ahead and go over there because I'm pretty sure it's still there. Content type hub. Oh, good Lord. We've got so many sites in here. Oh, what did I call it?
It should just be called. I don't think you were able to name it.
I called it something weird. Either I called it something weird or it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, because
So
I
this
don't
is the part
know
of
if you were
Power
able to
Hour
name
where we
that.
start just going off the rails and trying different things.
Well, it's late. It's in the last 10 minutes. Does anybody know where the site columns are nowadays for the content type hub in the chat?
Oh, there it is. Found it.
Okay, cool.
I just typed content type hub. Okay, so then we'll go to. Actually, I need to go to site settings.
Site columns.
Yeah, when I go to content types and I go to it from here, it'll let me edit the columns. Oh, look, it took me straight here. Whoa. Okay, on my homepage, I put a link straight to that manage content types screen. Here it is. Okay, then we've got source of funding. That's the one I wanted to edit. And I've got to go edit site column like that. That's that link that the other thing didn't have.
There it is. That's the link, yeah.
Corporate and then divisional. I'll just add divisional here. And then I could do formatting too. So watch this. I'll just... Okay, you're about to update all lists using this site column with the settings on this page. This will happen even if you haven't made any changes. Are you sure you want to continue? So, since I have 9 minutes, I may as well get some formatting to put in here. So I'll go ahead and go to just a regular list like this with with that column in it. Let me go add the column to it. Source of funding. And I'm going to do it the lazy way, like this. It's only going to have 3 of them with colors when I do this, but that's fine. Okay. Save. And then when I go to my list settings and I go to source of funding down here, it will have code. Copy that. I know nobody's following this because I'm like just trying all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, so then I paste it in there. And then it's going to push out. So I added divisional as a choice and I added some formatting, and I'll go ahead and click OK. All those die-hard SharePoint people who voted for this list template thing, what do y'all think about what we're doing? Is this sort of the path you would have been going down to try all this stuff with content types? It would make sense if it was all tied in with content types.
Or have we completely gone off the rails in our own SharePoint nerdiness?
So now this is the one that I created that I wasn't sure if it was going to have the information come down along with it, because it just has the item content type. So I'm not sure how long that's supposed to take for it to push and propagate out those settings. If I should wait a couple minutes.
Updates used to be really fast. It was content type updates that would take a little bit longer, but the actual column updates should be quick, relatively quick. But that was a while ago though.
Yeah, it still only has those 3. But yeah.
Is the formatting there though?
The formatting is, this is the one that I created the formatting on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I created the formatting on this one just to get the formatting.
Yeah.
But that other column's going to appear in here. So.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take. So I don't know if that was a very good test, because that runs on a timer job, right? I think when it pushes out all those changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got 6 minutes, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen in 6 minutes. So let's see. Let's see what is going on with everybody. I'll go back to the chat here.
Oh crap! I completely wasn't scrolling and missed a bunch of comments.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Sorry,
Zach
guys.
said the content type hub. Oh, and Zach likes the part where we like to break stuff.
I need to go back up here and look.
Lisa said on the template you removed item as a content type. If you hadn't, what would show up in the clone list? Well, I guess potentially. I don't think it would have put two different content types in the clone list. I think it just took whatever I had, like the columns that I had, and made them into a single just generic content type. I don't think it copied anything having to do with the content types. It just took the columns and just used the default item content type. But that, I mean, that's a good question. That's another thing potentially that could be tried. What else do you see in there, Joelle, that...
Yeah, I was looking to see if there was any like questions. Mostly just conversation about the content type hub stuff and how it pushes and pulls.
Yeah, Jer said, interesting, Microsoft put in a redirect for the content types, but not the site columns. But it's because they didn't create a new interface for the site columns yet.
Yep.
No, I don't think the list created from the template made the content type item because I deleted something. It just made it item because that's just the generic content type for every list. Just every custom list has item. So I think it just used item, and just because that's what it does.
Yeah, it's like it ignored the content type and just
it just completely ignored the
defaulted.
content type and used its default.
Because it did take the columns, just not the content type.
Still only has 3. Let me see.
And it could be because it's not connected.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if because of the fact that the content type thing didn't work, if it's just not even a site column, if that's just a local... Is there a way to see that? I'm trying to remember. I don't think there is. I think it's just content types I'm thinking of. Like to see if it's connected or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think on the list level you can see that.
I could try changing the names of one of these, and I don't know. But then
I'm almost feeling
Stay tuned.
My gut instinct is that my gut instinct is that it's not. It's just like a column. It's not connected. That's what I'm thinking.
That's disappointing. Well, since you can't really centrally manage site columns in the new pretty interface anyway, we kind of had to hack into it.
Right.
So, oh well. Well, so close, always. So close. All right, well, that was a fun one. And let's see, are we having Power Hour next week? Let me look at the schedule. Okay, so August 18th, we're having Power Hour. In between, we're having office hours. So those of you who are members of our Ultimate plan, our Ultimate membership, we have our own little private forum. We help each other. We go to office hours. We have a little live Teams meeting once every 3 weeks. So that's what this is. So I'll look forward to seeing you all, seeing the Ultimate people at office hours, and seeing all of you on the 18th at the next Power Hour. And we flip back over to here. So that was kind of in summary. That was a pretty easy little feature to implement, to be able to, especially since it lets you create the template from an existing list. You don't have to write all that script. So that was a pretty easy thing to implement and kind of tweak and and find out how it works. And then apparently the whole part with content types, maybe that'll be coming soon, but I'm not sure. But at least we can do this with lists now. Maybe Microsoft will let us do this with document libraries soon and be able to have columns, extra columns we've created or site columns in libraries be a thing where we can have document library templates like we used to be able to. But I love the list templates. They're so pretty. They're lovely. And I love the little icons, and the robot icon is my favorite. Thanks everybody for coming. See y'all next time. Over and out.
Bye, everybody.